Hi and welcome to a new video of the Stronghold System. My name is Lisa.
Hi, this is Jay and the Stronghold System is my mom. Please like this video and subscribe to my mom's channel. Thank you.
So in the previous video we talked about fantasy, and in this video I want to talk about another study that was talked about in the talk by Ellert Nijenhuis. I have my notes there if I'm looking. So the other study I want to talk about is a study they did with neuroimaging, which means that they put people in an MRI scan where they scan the brains and which parts of the brain get activated. And what they did was they showed images of happy faces, neutral faces, and angry faces to people for 0.017 seconds, and that means that your conscious brain doesn't pick up on the image. It's a subconscious reaction that your brain is giving because you don't have enough time to register it. And they did this test also with people with DID, actors without DID, so as themselves while thinking about a really bad memory, I believe. And they took actors who pretended to have DID. And this is all based on the study of structural dissociation. So they talk about the apparently normal part and the emotional part. And if you have DID, you have multiple emotional parts and multiple apparently normal parts. And they tested, or they tried to, they researched the difference in response, in brain response, when a emotional part was out or when an apparently normal part was out. And there was a huge difference. So what they saw was that the apparently normal parts in multiple DID systems, so they had 15 and later 13 people in the control group. So almost 30 people with DID did this testing, and they found that the apparently normal parts had an under-responsive activation of the brain to the angry faces that they showed to the subconscious brain because it was too short for the conscious brain to register. They found out that the emotional parts had an overreaction in the brain when they were shown the angry and the neutral faces. And they found out that when they showed the neutral face, the brain gave way much more response than the angry face. And what they saw in the brain was that when the angry face was shown, the emotional parts knew how to respond. It was not a surprise. It was as if they expected it. But when the apparently normal parts saw the neutral face, they didn't know how to respond. They didn't know what would happen. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. With the healthy people, there was the response that they predicted, which is different than the people from the ID. And the actors that they hired to play out as if they have the ID, and if they had a apparently normal part and an emotional part, they had the same response as the healthy people. So that does not only prove that we with DID have a different response to neutral faces, but it also shows that if you do not have DID and you just act it out, that your brain does not respond in the same way. It just responds like a healthy person because you are a healthy person if you participate in a study to pretend you have DID. If you pretend you have DID, you're probably not a very healthy person. But not many people pretend they have DID. Another study that I showed, but I'm not sure if I can find it, so I can put a link in here, but I will try, was that DID is not faked any more than any other disorder. So if people say lots of people fake DID, that's not true. It doesn't happen any more often than other people or other disorders. So yeah, maybe on difficult days where you doubt yourself and your diagnosis, these are the things you can tell yourself to confirm again, like, okay, this is my reality, this is how it is. So I thought this neuroimaging study was really cool, and that it showed so much, not just that we have a bigger response to a neutral face and an angry face, but also that if you act out like you have the ID, you get a different response, which really means that it's a brain disorder. It's in our brain, guys. It's not in our it's also in our mind, of course. That's also in our mind, but it's not. The basis is in our brain. I didn't know that. Like, I knew about depression, that it's a chemical imbalance of the brain, and that made it way more validating for me. But I knew on some level that DID is a brain disorder, but I thought maybe it was tested on like 2 or 3 people, but it's not true. There have been multiple tests with multiple different people with DID, not every time the same, but different people with DID doing these sorts of tests, and it keeps showing up with the same results, that actors show like no difference. It's just like a healthy person. And then with DID, there is a big difference between the emotional parts and the apparently normal parts, which I also find really interesting, because it it shows that the theory of structural dissociation has a good grounding foundation base situation, like there's some sort of proof that indeed there is a difference between. For those of you saying about the originals, which has nothing to do with this topic, but since we're talking about structural dissociation, I thought I'd share originals within the theory of structural dissociation are classified as apparently normal parts. So if you are wondering about that, like what does the structure of dissociation say about originals, they say it's an apparently normal part. They just made a different name for it. With DID, there are multiple emotional parts and multiple apparently normal parts. So that is a requirement to have DID if we follow the theory of structural dissociation. So I thought I mentioned that here. I might make a longer video. I want to redo that whole video about their original and the difference between host versus original, because I came to this information, so I want to update that. Because I know a lot of people with originals worry about it or think about it a lot. Maybe they feel invalidated by now, because in some groups on Facebook and forums and that sort of stuff, there is really a negative response to originals. I hope I have not been part of that. If I was, I'm sorry. I have never said that originals don't exist. We believe that original is a name, a label, a term like protector or caretaker or, inside mom, whatever you have or are. And that makes it validating for us, but maybe we have come across. I thought I'd share this here. I don't know, I feel awkward now. Maybe I shouldn't put this in this video. Okay. So I thought I share this information with you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys for the next video. Bye, guys. We have 500 subscribers! Yes!
Hi, this is Jay, and the strong note system is my mom. Please like this video and subscribe to my mom's channel. Thank you.